As a head, it's probably been it has been the most challenging of my career. But I don't just think for head teachers, I think for everybody in schools. And also, of course, for families, it's been incredibly challenging. But I think it is fair and true to say that there have been a number of perhaps unexpected benefits from the last year or so. I think during the first lockdown, remote learning was very much about activities that we could use to keep students busy or to maintain connections with the young people as they were in their own homes. Certainly the most recent lockdown, what we were seeing in schools was real learning, was actually teachers really making sure that what they were delivering fitted with the intended curriculum, but also really added value to the students. It was about them making progress in the areas that we needed to make progress in, creating live lessons that previously we hadn't thought would be possible, supporting families and training families to be able to access the remote learning, being really creative about getting over those digital barriers to actually deliver real lessons. Teachers weren't working in this in isolation. Teachers were working this with their class team, but also involving the families, involving the parents in this. It's not just great for the teaching team, including the parent, but also creates these really memorable moments for the students. And actually, these are things that people will remember for a long time.
We've had a shared experience which has been quite extraordinary that none of us have ever experienced before, and we've all supported one another through it. And I think as a result of that, we're more ready to talk to one another on a human level. I think we're more sensitive to one another's needs. And I think we're more prepared to flex to the needs of the other than we were before. We made daily phone calls to some of our families. We made home visits, even during the worst parts of lockdown in some cases. We recognised that whilst we could deliver technology and the infrastructure for doing work online for some families, even then they wouldn't complete it, and so they needed something completely different. Families have felt like not only can they come and talk to us, but actually we really need them to. And I think many of the changes and the innovations that have happened in the last 18 months or so, we won't be returning from. And actually school will be different from now on. And that's all about that kind of co-working that we've described.
I think that what became kind of more widely known by the wider world is something that schools have known for a long time, which is that we are much more than just places of education. And what we saw across all of Islington as well, not just in my school, was lots of lovely examples of that, and where during the pandemic local businesses and community partners had something that they wanted to give or to contribute to help the local community. But they didn't really know how to go about that, especially during lockdown. And so they would come to schools, and schools became that conduit for getting things out into the community, which was really lovely. And I do think as well that staff in schools really went above and beyond, especially during lockdown periods. They were out delivering food packages, checking up on vulnerable families and other families as well. And I think that has really helped to gel our communities as well. What we have and what we will hold on to are the links that we've made within our communities and the relationships that we now have with our families and with our local businesses and our local charities. That we will hold on to.
From day one, there was a real pulling together. It was very much what can we do to help with the children and the families, and that was really powerful to see actually, and was quite humbling. People really shone, and it was a great opportunity to see people shine. And I think I have the utmost respect for those people, and I don't think that we can acknowledge or recognise them enough for doing that.